Yo, what's going on, guys? What is happening? How's it going? How's it going out there? Out there in the public where the world can see you. Where you can't hide. You can't hide. You're there. People see you. Nothing you can do. Checking my iPhone because I'm an addict. I'm addicted. I got my ghetto mic right here. Yeah, got my ghetto mic right here. So last episode went, I think, successfully. I'm pretty sure it went successfully. I think you guys enjoyed it. There was a few issues that we did accompany that did arise. Issue number one. This mic right here, I thought was upside down. It still might be, but I think I looked at my box and it is missing two pieces. You guys don't care. Talking to myself. The second thing is, so when you film a podcast for video and you also want it to go to audio, what happens is give me 1 second. What happens is you get a video file and then you get an audio file. And for you guys who are very intelligent people, you may or may not know this, but when you get the video file, it comes with audio. And when you get the audio file, it's just audio. Obviously, there's no video that comes with the audio file. When you line them up in the software that I use iMovie, which is one of the main things I think I'm going to have to change. You're going to have to go to Final Cut Pro X because there's a different software that you need to get to synchronize them because it's impossible to synchronize them. So like my mouth, because I had to turn down the audio all the way on the video file. And then I had to keep the audio turned up for the audio for the mic. So the last video, the first episode you guys saw, was actually the mic from my camera. So if it didn't sound the best, don't worry. I'm going to try to get this podcast, and then in the future, because I will be purchasing Final Cut Pro here soon, then the audio quality would be better than it was before. Like I said, this is just what happens when you are figuring things out as you go. But that's that. As you can see, this is the day after the first episode. I'm going to try to record a few episodes a week. I'm going to try to get 3-4 videos out a week. Hopefully you guys are watching this video on Saturday, I believe. Saturday or Friday. I will be out of town this upcoming weekend. That does not matter. So I was watching a Nature is Metal, which is a really interesting Instagram page, and I really like it. It's gruesome. It's honest. It's very true. It's nature at its worst or its best. It depends if you are the prey or if you are the predator. But I really like it. And I was watching one of them with a frog, and there was like a cockroach, and the frog was hunting for the cockroach, and then it like stuck its tongue out in like super slow motion. And then it grabbed the cockroach and it like brought it back into its mouth. And I was thinking what? So imagine this. Let me take a swig of my tea real quick. Imagine if we had there's some things that humans do that are very strange. I think most of the time what we do is very normal to us, so it all seems very normal. But there are some things that we do that are very strange. Like if you really want to get in it a little bit, it's kind of there's not many animals out there that practice monogamy, which is the practice of having one partner instead of multiple partners for an extended amount of time. There is, I think, I don't know that many species that do it. So it may be okay. So I just googled how many animals are monogamous. It may be treasured value in many human cultures, but not monogamy is rare in the animal kingdom at large. Of the roughly 5,000 species of mammals, only 3 to 5% are known to form lifelong pair bonds. So beavers, otters, wolves, I don't know how to say that word, bats, foxes, and some hoofed animals, so like deers and moose, I guess. But it's really interesting. Like, so I was thinking about this frog and the way it attacked, like with this long tongue. It's like that's the adaptation technique that this animal has been, I guess, blessed with, because it can hide in areas that aren't easy to see, and its prey won't be able to see them as well. But at the same exact time, if it just had that adaptation, it wouldn't be able to eat really. It would have to wait for food to come by, and that would take a very long time. And I think there's like some fish that do that, but it's really interesting because they developed this tongue that like shoots out of the mouth. Like we all know how frogs eat, but I was thinking like, what are some weird qualities like that humans have that most animals don't have? Like it says here, only 3 to 5% of mammals are known for or practice monogamous relationships, so lifelong bonds. It's really interesting because although humans are monogamous, I don't know I don't know the percentage of humans that are actually monogamous. Like monogamous is a lifelong pair bond, so it's like humans practice monogamy. Like I don't know if that's what we want per se, but I think that's what we're told and what certain cultures and what certain society steers us to. It steers us to a monogamous relationship, a lifelong bond, something where you can just be with somebody for as long as you live until you pass away. But humans, the ones that even the people who do that, they usually don't make it all the way. And that's why divorce, people practice, sometimes adultery happens and people cheat on each other, and it's like monogamy is what we are told and what we are supposed to do, but being polygamist is what a lot of people tend to do, but not like at one time. But even I mean, some people do. So some people do. They're in a monogamous relationship and they want to be in it, but they veer off and they start practicing the polygamous. So having multiple wives, or not multiple wives, but having one wife or one girlfriend, but then having different people, and the same thing for girls, different guys. And it's really interesting. It's like, how much is it? Like it's a bad thing in the sense that what you break is trust, and what you break is like, you feel like you were like someone stepped all over you, like you were used in a way. And it's really interesting because humans have monogamy as what it's supposed to be, but most of the time it's not, and that's lifelong. And these animals, they do have lifelong partners until one of them passes away. They don't have a penguin, like penguin or otter divorce court. They don't have that. It's like all of the animals have just like a biological tendency or need to just stay with one partner. That's just what it is. And it's not like the personality and the characteristics that we have as humans is what bounces off that ability to like not do that. Or it's just simply not what we're designed to do, but what religion and culture and society has kind of taught us to do. I know for me, I love being in a monogamous relationship. It's what I function best in, and it's all that I really can see myself doing, because I'm very much, the energy that I like to use, I love to use in one person. Now I love to get to know people, not multiple people, but like a few people really well. And that's my stance on it. But the more you look at it, it's really interesting. Like, how much of it is a bad thing? Like, if you look at it from like an adaptation evolutional standpoint, it's like I mean, your goal as a man and as a woman is to pass down your DNA. So if you can do it with multiple different uh, opposite sex, whether it be people, whatever it is, whatever you are, uh, that would be the best solution. So biologically, like it makes sense, but like culturally and from the viewpoint of society, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. I was reading this book up here, this book called Behave, and it's one of the books that I actually like saved, like each chapter. Like I saved like every other page because I want to go back and look at them. I show them to my girlfriend and I show them to people I know, and it's a really interesting book. Basically, the premise of the book is by a gentleman named Robert Sapolsky. He is a professor at the University of Stanford, and I think I want to make sure I get it right because I think I got it wrong last time. Let me look. Okay, so he's a American neuroendocrinologist. He's a professor of biology and the professor of neurology and neurological science, and by courtesy, neurosurgery at Stanford University. So he's a very intelligent man. In this book, he basically breaks down, like, so it takes a character or anybody that you can imagine, and it takes this person and he has a weapon on him, he has a gun on him, and he sees somebody walking up to him, and it's like he's on lunch break, he's leaving Subway, let's just say, and he's going back to work. He's walking, the guy has a gun on him, just left lunch, good person, good family, good parents, good kids. Everybody loves him. He's one of the top executives at his job. He has his life together from a typical viewpoint. So from like the standard viewpoint, he has his life together. You would be shocked if this guy did anything wrong, even like a speeding ticket. You would be confused. You wouldn't understand why you would do it. You would be like, "Why'd you go that fast?" And it's just a really good person. But this gentleman walks up to him, looks like more or less like a homeless person, not dressed that well, scary looking person, intimidating, large in stature, and starts charging after him. He starts charging after him, and the gentleman pulls out a gun, pulls it up, aims the gun at the person, shoots and kills him out of fear that his life is in danger. Just a business person leaving Subway, getting ready to go back to work. Turns out the gentleman falls down, drops the phone from his hand. The gentleman was running with a phone to go give it to the lady who left it at the restaurant that she just left from. What happened? What happened to that person that the kids admired? What happened to the son that was the greatest gift that was ever given to his parents? What happened to the top executive who raised millions for the homeless, and now he just killed a homeless person midday? What happened? That's an outrageous character flaw, is it? And this book basically just breaks down that moment, breaks down the seconds that led up to that moment, the minutes that led up to that moment, the months that led up to that moment, the years that led up to that moment, and then farther back, all the way back to being in the womb, and then the life of your father as a child, the days of your father's childhood, your father's adulthood, your father's teenage years, and it breaks down those moments. What led to you eventually being conceived and then born, and then being born. It's insane. You read it and you're shocked, like the way you're held. Like if you're a son, if you're a boy, typically across the board, they're held less by their mother right when you're born. They're held more if you're a female and you're born to a mother. And it breaks all that down. Like, how does that affect this person who's great? And then it even goes farther back to like the the tribe that maybe your great 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 ancestors came from. What were they? Were they hunter gatherers? Were they agricultures? Did they live in a Western civilization where it's guilt and it's an individualistic viewpoint? Because if that's the case, then this gentleman maybe that increased the likelihood of him pulling the trigger. Now, if he grew up in, like, let's say, a more Asian culture dominant area, where this Robert points out that this part of the world is more of a do it for the culture, do it for the tribe, less individualistic. Does this help everybody? Yes. Okay, let's do it. Am I slightly taking the wrong end of the stick for it? Yes. That doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing it. It's for the cultures, for the tribes, for the people better than me. If that was the case, maybe he wouldn't kill the gentleman because he might have had more empathy. And it breaks down all these viewpoints, all these different behavior situations, the environment you were born, the genes you were given. And it leads up to that point. An impulsive thought, quote unquote, impulsive. Is it impulsive? And I've just been really thinking about that. And I've been thinking about being a child. You know, being a child is so... I've had a completely different viewpoint lately. I look at children and I see babies crying to the mother, and I see adults. And then you know, if you go to Baltimore, or if you go to a city near you and you see the people, the homeless people, or even just down your street, someone panhandling, you feel so much more empathy. I feel so much more empathy now. I feel for these people. I think that's the right word. You know, you feel for them. Because what went wrong? You know, what went wrong? Life it's just so difficult. You don't know. And I think this is a big issue with so many of the things going on in the hostile world that we live in at times, or at least part of the world, or at least too much. We're so quick to really just pinpoint different actions from different people and then define them as that. And is that the right thing to do? I don't think so. Is there a cause for that? Yeah. It's survival. You know, that's, like he says in his book, it's biologically in our DNA to be xenophobic. It really is. We have fear of people, not fear, but you take a double look. The neurons in your body and the chemicals in your body kind of jump a little bit when you see somebody from a different culture, different race. You do. And it's so easy to just find a flaw on somebody, whether it be a homeless person. It's so easy to say, I'm not going to give them money because they're just going to go buy drugs or they're just going to buy alcohol. It's so easy to make that quick decision. It requires no thought. Especially when you read books and you do research and you're like, holy shit, that actually requires no thought. It's drilled into me to have that reaction about people. But it's so much harder to realize, holy fuck, that person is me. It could have easily been me. Could have easily been me. Could have easily been you. Could have easily been you. You know, I've been pondering a thought can everybody be Jeff Bezos? Can everyone be Elon Musk? Can everyone be Steve Jobs? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. But can everybody slip up in life? And if they don't have something to catch on to, whatever it is, whether it be a mom, a dad, a sibling, a brother, a sister, which is a sibling, a cousin, a teacher. What if you don't have that? You know, what happens? What happens? And that's something that I've just been so fascinated about. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it went wrong. I don't know where the ability to feel for somebody else went. I don't know where it went. I don't know why it went. you don't have to know people to figure out that they're just like you. You don't. You don't need to. You can easily see it quickly. If you walk down a street and you see homeless people, I mean, basically, it's just somebody who chose a fork in the road and then shit went haywire. I was talking to somebody yesterday at my job, and they were telling me how very philosophical I was and how I thought about things before I said it. And I was talking to somebody else at work, and I was thinking, and basically just saying, they were telling me how, she was telling me how, I think before I say things. I think before I say things. And she said it in a way that was like almost like shocking that somebody my age or just somebody in general does that. I haven't always done that. And I don't think I ever valued words. Not in the sense that they can do great, but I knew that they could do great. But I didn't know how fucking damaging they could be. I mean, so damaging and so spontaneous at different moments of your life. You could be a 4-year-old kid and you hurt your leg, or you accidentally hit your cousin in the back of the head with a baseball bat on a backswing, and somebody comes out just yelling at you and saying, "How dare you do this? Why'd you do this to your cousin? You have to apologize right now." And then that could lead the kid down to a path forever of just not being able to understand what an accident is versus doing something on purpose. And then this person develops this thing where they're just super low self-esteem and always apologizing for everything. They learn to hate themselves because they think humility is the way out, but too much humility leads to self-hatred. I told my dad one time, I left him a note before he went to work. I was like, "Dad, I love humility and all, and I love being humble, but Jesus Christ, thank God, thank God, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, they weren't humble with some of their ideas." And I mean it. I really do. I think there's a fine balance. I think words are powerful. They're so powerful. Not even just words, but unspoken words. Actions are so powerful. Seeing someone's face light up, that shit's beautiful. Especially when you have something to do with it. I think that's such a beautiful thing to do, to be able to change people's lives. And I don't know, because life is hard, and it works in waves, and it always has and always will. It works in waves. It comes up and down, and I think if you can take your perspective, I don't know. I wish I could give you something to change your perspective on the world, and not the world, but on yourself, and figure out that you are capable of so much. And then on top of that, be able to understand that everyone around you has made decisions similar to you, and they were all once babies. That's the cool thing about the world, is that every single person living on it, all 7.5 to 8 billion people, we're all just babies at one point. Just 7.5 billion babies. Some predisposed to depression, schizophrenia, some with Down syndrome, some with autism, some predisposed to addiction. There's so many different things out there. There's so many different things out there that could affect a child. It really is. There's so many different things out there that could affect a child. And you got to have this ability to understand that you were just as capable as being on the corner, homeless, as that person is right now. I always, I don't blame. Some things happen to people and they snap. Some people snap often. Some people snap a lot. Some people snap once, but they're they have no control of it. They have no control of it. And that sucks. That sucks a lot, man. I don't know. I've just been really thinking about that. The world is just such a strange place. I mean, you even see it between our president and I don't know. He's called like these 4 women with all different ethnic backgrounds the squad. And it's like, you didn't have to say that. Like, why did you call them the squad? And it's like a battle. I mean, people are screaming, I'm embarrassed to be an American. It's strange. It's strange. You can understand. I mean, there's definitely things to be quote unquote embarrassed about. But it's very ironic. If you say you're embarrassed of being fill in the blank in the wrong country, you won't be in that country. You're dead. You're done. It's people's personalities and characteristics, they change. And I think growing up, a lot of people were told that you can't change those. They're with you forever. And it's like, that's not true. People always change. It's what you do. Thank God people change, man. Thank God I changed. Thank God people change. Thank God people find healthy alternatives in life. Thank God people have the ability to communicate with other people that are greater than them, that are more powerful than them. And you can listen. You can just shut up sometimes and listen to people. It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, I love sitting down and talking to older people and just listening to them talk. I don't know. I'm everywhere, but I just wanted to share my thoughts, and this is why I have a podcast, honestly. I was telling Taylor, I was like, man, I need to get a podcast because I just talk to you too much. Sorry. It's true. And sometimes, like, the thoughts I have are so, like, half thoughts, too. They're not even, like, full thoughts. But I think that is a full thought. I think having empathy for people and understanding that all people around you are just big babies. That's all it is, with different things that change them. Environmentally, or not even environmentally only, but, like, genetically. Some people can't control those emotions, and, I mean, not too shocked about that. Emotions are hard. Trying to look up some stories from today. I don't know if you guys like to do that. Some strange news that's been happening recently. Let's just run over a few. Watch Florida boys rescue after getting locked in igloo cooler. I don't know, that's not cool. Like this video right here. I'm not gonna play it, but it's a bunch of inmates help a deputy help a police officer rescue a baby accidentally locked in a car. It's like these people that if you go to jail, it's like this quick idea that you are a bad person and you can't help anybody. And this is your cage and you're going to stay in this cage. It's like, that's just not true. It's not true, man. People change. People are different than what you think they are. People aren't bad. I used to always be so afraid, and I think sometimes I still am afraid. I've always been so afraid of being the person who I always wanted to be different. I always wanted to be a very a person that was not easy to figure out because I found comfort in that. I didn't want people to figure me out because I didn't want people to have the control. I wanted to have the control at all times. I wanted to be special. I wanted to be the person that you couldn't, like I said, you couldn't figure out. You couldn't break open the shell. The shell was locked. Because I didn't want people close to me. I didn't trust people. I literally had an idea that all people were evil. And all people wanted from you was something from you. They didn't want anything else. They didn't want a friendship. They didn't want a relationship. I literally thought all friendships were just, they were useless. That's why for so long I just kept people away from me. It's not true. People are good. People are good. The world is good. It's not bad. It's dangerous. There's still places that need help. The world is... People are good. I remember I grew up with... That's why I have a thin blue line behind me. I grew up with parents that were police officers. And I didn't really ever realize how much it altered my life. Not in a bad way, not in a good way, just in a way. Obviously, like the typical joke where it's like, you couldn't do anything because your parents are cops to figure out everything that you do. It's like kind of. But that was never the thing. Because I never thought of my parents as police officers. Because when they came home, they were just parents. And I think that taught me a lot. I was exposed to a lot at a young age. Not like visually, but like I heard a lot. My dad would tell me stories all the time. My mom, not so much, but my dad would tell me stories all the time. So I really developed a powerful connection with words and storytelling. And I found that communication for me is just so important. But I never wanted to do it because I always thought sharing your opinion and sharing your story was not humble. It's like showing off. But I remember listening to these stories just about people. God, dude, life was just hard. And like, just stories about gangs and women getting raped and things that to me as a child were just words. I never really understood. I never really put the words, and I never painted them. I never made them an image. I always just kept them as words because I guess I was afraid. I guess I was naive, and I guess I didn't want to believe. I didn't want to believe that the world was full of a lot of bad. Not a lot, but there were some. I didn't want to believe that. But the truth is I didn't have to because the world is a lot of good. And I remember them just coming home all the time, just seeming so happy all the time, and I was so confused because the older I got, I was like, they're cops, man. They're police officers in a pretty rough area too. And then the shit started hitting the fan with cops, and cops became the enemy, which was so weird to me because I started looking at my parents. It's like, fuck, are my parents the enemy? Like even me, I was a child. These two police officers raised me. They gave me everything I could imagine. But then I started thinking like, fuck, man. You start seeing these videos going out on social media of like these cops just beating the shit out of people. And you see all these like brutal incidents of like just very like bad people doing terrible things to people. And it made me start to think like, it really started making me question a lot of things like, I think I got like embarrassed in a way. I became embarrassed. I used to be proud. There was a point where I was really proud to tell people that my parents were police officers. But then I think it got to a point where I wasn't really proud anymore. And nothing to do with them. They were good police officers. Not the bad ones. Not the idiots. But they were good police officers. But I developed almost like an embarrassment. And then I developed like a resentment. And then I developed an isolation in my brain. Where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes to not be like anybody else. I don't want to be like my parents. I'm going to be different. I'm going to do my life in a way where I tell people about it and they don't believe me. And I thought that was like my safety net, to be completely different than everybody else. To, at least for me, I thought the best way to do that, the best shield I could have, was to just drop out of school. And to push people away from me. Push people close to me and then push them away from me. I didn't want friends for such a fucking long time, man. Even now, it's hard for me to really develop friendships, I guess. I'm just now finally getting to the point where I think I'm starting to understand that a friend is not just somebody there to talk to, but they're somebody there to be there with you throughout life. And they're not just replaceable. So I have really good friends. And I just thought that you didn't need them. I didn't need them. Of course I didn't need them. Why would I need them? Because when I die, it's only going to be me. And that's such a toxic way of thinking. And I see it a lot with like men and women too. It's just not the way to, I think. It's just not the way to really be happy. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I think it's important to really find friends. I think it's really important to talk to people. I think it's really important to keep people close to you. And I think it's really important to the seeds that you have with people. So the relationships that you do have with people, I think it's really important to keep those going. Keep those growing and keep them going as long as you can. As long as you can. And let them grow into something more. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You don't want to be afraid. You want to be smart. You don't want to push people away. Because the truth is that they're actually really good. People are really fucking good. People aren't bad, dangerous, stupid. Some of them are. But people are good. And you don't have to use them. You can just keep them close to you. I've been listening to a lot of comedy lately. Different comedians like Joe Rogan, obviously, Theo Von, Whitney Cummings, Joey Diaz, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, and all these people, and they're all very interesting. They're all very interesting people, and they all have different comedy, and it's very relaxing. It's very relaxing just to listen to. I don't know. Podcasts are hard. I'm very excited to get this up to a point where I can have like somebody else on. So I love conversating with people. That's probably my favorite thing to do. I was telling this to somebody yesterday at work. I was like, I love making people feel good about whatever they have to say. Like if you are the best Frisbee person in the world and I have nothing, I don't know anything about Frisbee. I have no idea what Frisbee, even how to throw a Frisbee. And like, that's true. I have no idea how to throw a Frisbee. But like, I would be damned. And if I was talking to like one of the, like somebody who absolutely loved Frisbee, I would ask them every question about Frisbee. I would want to know everything that they know about Frisbee, because for me, I love talking to people. And when we all know, you can see when somebody feels like they're being heard. I love that. When you can see that connection in someone's eyes with like, fuck, this person cares about what I have to say. I love doing that. Like, even if I don't care about it, I could. Like, mathematically, there's millions of different hobbies and things to do in this world. There just is. There's so many things you can do with your life. And it's like, you can't just block everything off. There's a few things that you're going to find that you're really good at, but there's also things that There's things that you may never be good at, but there's something so powerful about listening to somebody and making somebody else feel good about whatever it is that they're good at. I think that's so cool. It's so important to me, at least. There was I was reading a news article about this doctor who was at a hospital. I gotta look this up. I can't just be screaming out shit. There we go. Just recently too. So this doctor killed 25 patients. This is just so crazy. I saw this and I don't know why I'm sharing this. All right. 25 murder charges against a Ohio doctor accused of essentially using his colleagues as weapons by ordering fatal painkiller doses for hospital patients, but not directly administering them themselves. So basically, this guy had the ability to manipulate this. So this is a psychopath, or like a sociopath. So interesting. Law is so weird. Like if this guy goes to court, okay. So like Charles Manson, for example, this guy goes to court. He didn't directly kill 25 people. Now he did kill 25 people, right? He did. He ordered people to kill 25 people, but not even. It sounds like what I was reading. It sounds like they didn't know that what they were doing would kill 25 people. They at least weren't able to connect it. Like if you know something's so bad, you usually don't go to what the worst possible situation is because you just don't want it to be that. So you kind of block it off in your mind. And this gentleman actually had the ability to make it seem like he was able to manipulate people to kill 25 people with opioids, overdose them on drugs. Now, law is so interesting. Like, there's been people in the court of law who got off of murder charges, or at least significantly decreased, because one lady blamed it on her menstrual cycle. A gentleman blamed it on having low blood sugar, basically saying he didn't eat at a certain time. There's so many weird things about law. Like, law is like a chess game, and like justice is weird. Like, what is justice? It's the ability to just move your chess pieces at the best ability before you get the other side to break, or to just win the chess game. And that's what it is. And it's so interesting when you see things like this. Like, Charles Manson didn't directly kill anybody, but he gets locked up for life. Okay, he was a terrible person. I get it. I totally get it, man. I get it. I understand. He was a bad person. He was a lunatic, and he got people to kill other people. But locked up forever. Then you have people running the streets like O.J. Simpson who are like free, who literally jokes about killing people. Like, he's killed 2 people, or 1 person, I don't know. But since the court of law found him not guilty, however they did that, because he glove didn't fit or whatever it was, it's like one person didn't directly kill anybody, but manipulated people to kill people. Charles Manson, locked up forever. Another person killed 2 people, awarely knew what he was doing, murdered them, killed them, took their lives. Nothing happened. It's so strange, man. It's so weird to think about that. Like, that's what law is. It's your ability to like trick the other side. And then like if you look at it more, it's like the lawyers know the judges and the judges know the lawyers. Like the lawyers take the judges out on like dinner dates or like whatever, take them out for lunch or whatever it is. Let them sleep at their house if they're traveling, buy them airplane tickets. It's like such a fucking shady world. It's like there's so many shady things that go on. Like people always talk about like the government, like all the like their secrets and like the conspiracies. Like some of them, okay, the government has done things before that are very conspiracy-ish, but how much of the government can actually is fully capable of keeping secrets? Like, I don't know. It's you see shit like that, and it like people just forget about it. Like, people forget about things. Like, you remember that shooting that happened in Las Vegas? The guy who killed 44 people, just mowed them down at like a country festival in the country in the festival, whatever it was, music concert. He killed so many people. I gotta look that up. So he killed 59 people, including himself. So he shot and killed 58 people. But like that incident like was never talked about. Like it was talked about for just a month or 2 months, but you still hear things about the Parkland shooters. And I'm not saying one's worse than the other. They're both horrible. Like they're both terrible. And 851 were injured, 422 by gunfire. So he landed like 430, almost 500 bullets on people's faces and bodies. But you don't hear about some of these shootings, and it's so like disgusting to think about. It's almost like sickening because it's like, why not? Well, it's Las Vegas, man. You can't talk about shit like that for so long because then literally the economy is affected. The economy of Las Vegas would be affected if everyone just kept on talking about it. And make Las Vegas seem like a bad place to go. But then there's like certain other places where it's like you just talk about them. And like you don't talk about the Las Vegas shooting. I mean literally that thing just disappeared. Like the last news story I see, not even like months old, which is just so crazy to think about. It's just so crazy to think about, man. And it's like, I don't know why, because of money. I think that's what I think. I don't know. Maybe it's not true, but that's what I think. Such a wild thing, man. I don't know. We're going on to 50 minutes now. And like this podcast has been everywhere, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I have to get going. I got a baseball game today. I play in an adult baseball league, something I do for myself, and it's fun. It's relaxing for me to do, and I thoroughly enjoy doing it a lot. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and if you guys did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will be uploading more soon. I will be uploading very soon in the near future, guys. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast right now. I'm going to get going. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have yourself a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Episode 2 is done.